Good morning, church family. When I was asked to prepare the offertory message for today, the guiding question was, who taught you the joy of giving? And to be honest, I had to pause for a moment. That is a really good question. I did not grow up with regular church attendance, let alone regular giving to the church. So, how could I have learned the joy of being generous? But then it came to me. My family did teach me the joy of giving. It was just not connected to faith or money. I never went hungry as a child. I never lacked a roof over my head, and I never felt lonely. My family was always there to provide for me and my brother. Of course, it also required sacrifices from my parents and grandparents. I was not fully aware of that as a child, but what I do know and remember is the joy it brought to them to see us grow up and flourish. Looking at who I am today and the joy it brings me to provide for others is something my family instilled in me. The happiness I feel when someone enjoys a meal I have cooked for them, the joy of giving my time to talk to someone and to give advice, the satisfaction I get when a live stream went well and reached our community, knowing that getting up early on Sunday to help with the setup did make a difference in the lives of those tuning in. Or the joy I feel when I can offer something as simple as a hug for someone in need of emotional support. Today, that joy includes giving financially to our church community. Tithing did not come naturally to me. It was rather a trained pleasure. I think the best way for me to compare it is to my joy of drinking coffee. The first espresso I ever had was not something I enjoyed a lot, but the second one was already less bitter, and by the 10th, I was hooked to the taste of it. And guess what? God is not done with teaching me the joy of giving yet. As I was thinking about the concept of joyful generosity, God was right there to provide me with a hands-on update. Here's what happened. My partner Xavier and I did our grocery shopping at the local Trader Joe's, and it was a busy Saturday. Many people bought flowers in anticipation of Mother's Day. As we got in line for the checkout, there was a woman standing close to us. She had some flowers in her hand, and she seemed to be in a hurry. As she looked towards the end of the line, I felt a nudge to talk to her. Yeah, this is the long checkout line today. But if this is all you have, pointing to her flowers, please feel free to get in front of us. She was hesitant for a moment. Is it really okay for you guys? She asked. We nodded and she got in line. As we moved towards the cashiers, she kept looking around towards our shopping cart and snapped pictures of the line with her phone. I found that a bit odd, but did not think of it any further. As we came close to the checkout, she suddenly turned around and said, "Let me pay for your groceries." "Oh, no. This would be way too generous," I said. But she insisted. "You guys come with me." As we were still trying to politely decline, she simply said, "Just accept this blessing. Feel the blessing." I could not say anything after that. We made our way to the cashier together. She paid for everything and even gave us the receipt in case we had an issue with the purchased items. We just said, "Thank you so much for your kindness," and wished her a blessed day. She probably smiled back. I could not even see it under her face mask, but she nodded and rushed out the door in front of us. Wow. From the 3 types of prayers that Reverend Dwayne mentioned last week, this is the one that came to mind first. And then, thanks. Xavier said to me, "Pay it forward." And yes, he was right. This is not just an act of kindness to keep to ourselves. It was a call to pass it on, which made me donate what we would have paid for groceries that day to MCCDC's Park and McCann Benevolence Fund instead. So, we as a church can provide a grocery cart, or support someone in our community who needs help with their bills. I have a hard time accepting things and often question myself, do I deserve this blessing? And what for? God reminded me that I got it all wrong when I asked this way. Instead, God taught me two things that day. First, there is kindness and generosity in the world and all around us. And secondly, generosity is a joy, not just for the receiver, but even more so for the giver. Every little act of kindness can start a cycle of generosity. All we have to do is being open to accept the blessing.